Let's be honest. You've probably scrolled through social media and seen people living what looks like the perfect financial life. The new cars, the dream vacations, the I retired at 35 posts. It's enough to make anyone wonder, am I doing this whole money thing wrong? The truth is, most of what you see online is a highlight reel. The real financial picture for the average American in 2025 is far more fragile than it appears. We're not here to scare you, but to show you the actual numbers that define financial reality for millions of people right now. These aren't just abstract statistics. They represent the stress, the sleepless nights, and the tough choices people are making every single day. This video breaks down the most concerning personal finance stats you need to know. More importantly, we're giving you the clear, actionable steps to ensure you don't become one of these statistics. Because understanding the problem is the first step to building a solution that works for you. I'm Grayson Cole, and let's start this video. Let's start with the number that keeps most people stuck. Debt. Specifically, credit card debt. The average American household is now carrying over $9,000 in credit card balances. Let that sink in. $9,000. That's not a mortgage on a house or a loan on a car. Assets that actually hold value. This is $9,000 spent on things that are likely long gone. Meals out, online impulse buys, gadgets sitting in a drawer. The psychology behind this is simple but dangerous. We spend because it feels necessary in the moment. We tell ourselves we deserve a treat after a hard week, or that we'll figure out how to pay for it next month. But that's exactly how the minimum payment trap works. It creates the illusion of progress while you're really just treading water, paying mostly interest, and barely scratching the principal. The math is brutal, with interest rates often between 20% and 25%. Carrying that $9,000 balance means you're throwing away nearly $2,000 a year, every year, just in interest. That's money that could be building your future, but instead, it's making the credit card companies rich. This cycle makes it feel impossible to get ahead because you're constantly pouring money into a hole that never fills up. So, what's the escape plan? It starts with one non-negotiable rule: stop the bleeding. Today. That means no new charges on the card. Put it in a drawer or even cut it up if you have to. The goal is to break the habit of reaching for plastic when you want something. Next, you need clarity. List every single debt you have, from the smallest balance to the largest. Write down the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment for each one. Now, you have two popular strategies. The debt snowball, where you attack the smallest debt first with every extra dollar you can find while making minimum payments on the rest. The psychological win of paying off that first debt completely gives you massive momentum to tackle the next one. Or the debt avalanche, where you target the debt with the highest interest rate first, which is mathematically the smarter move because it saves you the most money on interest. The strategy you choose matters less than the fact that you start. This isn't about a complex financial formula. It's about decisive action. That first win, paying off a single card, changes your entire mindset from feeling trapped to feeling empowered. If the debt numbers are bad, the retirement statistics are downright frightening. According to the Federal Reserve, the median amount Americans have saved for retirement is about $65,000. And that's only for the people who have retirement accounts at all. About 1 in 4 Americans have absolutely nothing saved. 0. Let's be clear about what $65,000 means for retirement. If you follow the standard 4% withdrawal rule, that gives you about $2,600 per year to live on. That's less than $220 a month. Could you cover your groceries, utilities, and healthcare on $220 a month? Even if your house is paid off, that's not nearly enough. This reveals a dangerous fantasy many people cling to, the idea that Social Security will be enough. For most, Social Security was designed as a supplemental safety net, not a full retirement plan. The average benefit is around $1,550 a month. Combine that with your $220 from savings, and you're still looking at a serious income gap in your golden years. The real tragedy here is the power of compound interest, and how brutal it is if you're a late starter. The money you invest in your 20s is worth exponentially more than the money you scramble to save in your 50s. A dollar invested at 25 has decades to grow. That same dollar at 55 has barely any time. People delay for all sorts of reasons. They'll start next year. They can't afford it right now. It's too confusing. But the reality is, every month you wait makes the mountain you have to climb significantly steeper. So, how do you turn this around? You focus on what you can control right now. If your employer offers a 401k with a company match, that is your absolute number one priority. Contributing enough to get the full match is an instant 100% return on your money. It's the closest thing to free money you will ever find. If you don't have a 401k, open a Roth IRA. The key is to make it automatic. Set up a transfer for even a small amount, $50, $100, to happen the same day your paycheck hits your account. You won't miss what you never see. This shifts you from just funding your present to actively building your future. Stop thinking of retirement savings as a luxury for later and start treating it as an essential bill you pay to your future self today. And just when you think you're starting to manage your debt and save for retirement, life happens. That's where the next statistic hits hard. A massive percentage of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. A flat tire, a medical copay, a broken appliance. These aren't rare events. They're inevitable parts of life. But for far too many people, they become full-blown financial catastrophes because there's simply no buffer. Living paycheck to paycheck has become the norm, not the exception. When every single dollar is allocated before it even hits your bank account, there's zero room for the unexpected. This creates that dangerous domino effect we all fear. A $500 car repair leads to a credit card charge you can't pay off. That new debt increases your minimum monthly payment, which tightens your budget even further. Then the next emergency hits, maybe a dental bill or a home repair, and you're forced to go deeper into the hole. It's a cycle that becomes incredibly difficult to break once it starts. An emergency fund isn't a luxury. It's your financial airbag. Its only job is to prevent a small, unexpected problem from turning into a life-altering financial disaster. It's literally the difference between an inconvenience and a full-blown crisis. Knowing you have that cushion completely changes your relationship with money. That constant low-grade stress of what if that keeps you up at night. It starts to fade when you know you're prepared. So how do you build one when money feels impossibly tight? You start small and you make it automatic. Forget the overwhelming advice about saving 3 to 6 months of expenses right away. That can feel impossible when you're starting from zero. Your first goal is just $500. Look for the painless ways to find that cash. That might mean a temporary side gig for a single weekend, selling things you no longer use online, or cutting a non-essential subscription for just a few months. Once you have that starter fund, you protect it fiercely. This money is for true emergencies only, not for sales, not for vacations, not because you had a bad day. Keep it in a separate savings account, ideally at a different bank than your checking account. So it's not tempting to dip into. You want access within a day or two, not instant access. That small barrier makes you think twice before using it for anything less than a real emergency. Now, you might be thinking, this would all be easier if I just made more money. And you're absolutely right. But that's the core of our next problem, the income illusion. While the cost of housing, groceries, healthcare, and just about everything else has shot through the roof, real wages, what your paycheck actually buys, have struggled to keep pace for most Americans. There's a growing and frightening gap between what you need to spend on essentials and what you actually bring home each month. This isn't about cutting back on avocado toast or skipping coffee. This is about the fundamentals of life: shelter, food, transportation, becoming more expensive faster than incomes are rising. This reality is exactly why side hustles have shifted from being optional extras to absolute necessities for financial stability. It's no longer just about extra spending money. It's about covering the basic gap between what you earn and what you need to survive. But not all side hustles are created equal. The goal isn't just to trade more hours for more dollars in a straight line. The real goal is to increase your actual earning potential. So what skills actually pay off right now? Focus on abilities that are in high demand and can be scaled. Digital skills like basic copywriting, social media management, or even learning to build simple websites have relatively low barriers to entry but serious demand. Or think about monetizing a skill you already have. Maybe you're great at organizing, tutoring a specific subject, or even basic graphic design. The key is to find something that doesn't just add a few dollars, but actually builds a valuable asset. Yep, your skill set. And don't forget the money you might be leaving on the table at your main job. Negotiation isn't a one-time event when you get hired. If you've taken on more responsibility, consistently exceeded targets, or developed new skills that benefit your company, you have a legitimate case for a raise. The approach is everything. Instead of framing it as, I need more money, frame it around the value you provide. Try something like, in the past year, I've helped the team achieve X, which resulted in Y for the company. I'd like to discuss aligning my compensation with this increased contribution. Always have a specific research number in mind based on what the market pays for your role and skills. The ultimate financial security, though, comes from not relying on a single source of income. Creating multiple streams, even small ones, acts as a powerful financial shock absorber. If one source dries up or gets cut, you're not suddenly starting from zero. This could be something like a dividend-paying investment account, a small rental property if that's feasible, or a micro business you run online. The path forward isn't about working yourself to exhaustion. It's about working smarter, getting paid what you're truly worth, and building systems that earn money for you, even when you're not actively trading your time for dollars. So why are so many of us in this situation? The root cause is a massive financial literacy gap. A huge percentage of adults can't pass a basic test on concepts like compound interest or inflation. We're playing a high-stakes game without understanding the rules. Common myths keep people stuck, like thinking you need a lot of money to start investing, or that carrying a credit card balance helps your score. The most critical concept to master is cash flow, knowing exactly what's coming in and what's going out. That clarity is the foundation for everything else. Awareness is the first step, but action is what changes your trajectory. Don't try to fix everything at once. Start with a simple financial health check. Look at your last 3 months of bank statements. Where is the money actually going? Pick one realistic goal for the next year, like building that starter emergency fund or paying off your smallest credit card. The key is building systems like automatic transfers so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. Understanding these numbers is your power. They don't have to be your future. If you want more no-nonsense strategies to build a real financial security, subscribe for more. And tell me in the comments, what's the one financial goal you're committing to this month?